All right, there we have it. We are officially online speaking to our two Cape Townian friends, Jami Webb and Sali Dalek. How you guys doing? Firstly, let's start with Jami maybe because it's going to get confusing if I ask you the same question at the same time. Jami, how's things been for you?
I'm doing well, thank you, Aiden. Thank you for having us. I'm doing well. Just grateful and happy in a good space.
And of course, focusing on your Western Cape title that you've just acquired, you had to refine your passion for the sports and come in with an impressive performance. But a change in camp and just a change in mindset seems to have worked the trick.
Yes, it was definitely. I had to make a lot of changes mentally. I was in dark space, but we came out and I needed to make that change. I just needed a change in scenery and different people around me, and I needed to learn new things and go back to the foundation of it.
And Salih, you obviously the person that came into the picture at this point in Jamie's career. How have you seen his progression? Does he have a legitimate run in him to go pick up a major title now?
I think Jamie didn't have the opportunity to show the new Jamie, which on the one hand is good, obviously for future opponents, especially with footage being online. And on the other hand, would have been good for us, especially in a 10 rounder, to have put everything that we've put or worked on into practice. So I definitely think he's got it in him.
And so, I know you guys have just started working together. It took one round for Jamie to take care of business on Partner. Was that enough for you to say, okay, look, Jamie's ready for one of the up and coming guys in the division? There's some names out there that are floating out there, but does it give you the confidence just after one round of seeing him in the ring?
I had the confidence before this. To be honest, if you know what we put Jamie through and the beating that he got and the vigorous training, and I'd like to think that our training was very different to what he experienced in the past. I think I've mentioned before that I do want to maintain an international standard of training for our boxers, especially what I've been exposed to, and I'm constantly studying and constantly learning and getting material from abroad. So going into this, I think his last week, his final week of sparring before the taper week, gave me the confidence knowing that it doesn't actually matter who's standing in front of Jamie. That person's going to get a hiding.
All right. Well, that takes me to my next question because I put on social media an Instagram post. Obviously, there's been talks as well behind the scenes. Yourself and Darrin Rossouw, you had you saying saying something. Darrin had a comeback to what you were saying. He was basically taking a stab at your last opponent and saying it's not good enough. What's your thoughts on now a fight against Darrin Rossouw? It seems to be doing the numbers in the media.
Um, like I said in the past, they need to take care of business. Him and Plikes need to take care of business, and they've been doing that. Last year they were on a good run, both of them. So now there's no more hiding anymore. Now we have to take care of business. He's number three, I'm number four, so it just makes sense. While his teammates are, I think, one and two, so there's no other. He can't go higher than that. He needs to fight me. It needs to happen.
And from yourself personally in that fight, I know there's been a couple of venues touted already. There's been Port Elizabeth, Johannesburg, Cape Town. Being between those three venues, does it matter to you if it happens, or are you just happy if it just materializes?
I'm just happy that if it happens, it doesn't matter where it happens. If it happens at home, good for me. If it happens at his house, good for him. If we meet on neutral grounds, doesn't actually matter.
Okay, let's break down that fight right now. I mean, Darrin Rossouw, as we've mentioned before, he is up and coming. He's coming off his first professional loss in his boxing career. How do you see him as a potential opponent?
He's a good boxer. He has nice skill. I can't take anything away from him. He's a hard worker. So it would be a nice matchup. You have to speak to my coach, and we'll figure out the game plan.
Solid in a fight like that. Obviously, you got a guy that's hurting in Darrin Rossouw would want to come back with a sensational comeback win, and Jami, who's just got his comeback win. I mean, both motivated for different reasons. How do you see that fight playing out?
I think emotion plays a big role in this. I think Rossouw coming off a loss can go one of two ways, and that's a motivated Rossouw comes back with a point to prove. He's young, he's got a career ahead of him, and he needs to pave the way to make him a lot more attractive boxer. Or, this first loss proves where his grit is, and maybe it's not there, and he just doesn't have it in him. Jamie comes with experience. He's got the rounds. He's got the years. He's had enough. He's been exposed to enough in the industry to have sort of formed him where he is now, if that makes sense. It'll be very interesting to see, especially coming off his first loss. You can always come back after, well, not always, it's not great, but coming off your very first loss, it's a new experience, and you might be a bit hesitant to go through that loss again. So again, it's either you're going to really work hard, come back stronger, and prove that you're not going to make those mistakes again, or you're going to be nervous and you're going to let your emotions get the better of you.
And do you get the feeling, discussing it maybe with this question for you, Salek, discussing it maybe with Rossouw's camp, that they want the fight against you guys?
I think. I think I don't see why they wouldn't want the fight. I think there might be a bit of overconfidence on their end, which is good for us. So I don't see any reason why they wouldn't want to take the fight with us. It's a stepping stone for Rossouw. And again, like Jamie said, it's the next logical step to take.
All right, Jamie, and the fight against Darrin Rossouw, obviously it'll be a popularity contest as well, because you're both very popular boxers in the ring. And we mentioned having two South African fighters fighting each other always brings out the best in the country. But a lot of people that get behind those type of fights, as I say, local is lekker. What's your thoughts on the crowd support for this type of fight?
I think it's a fight that everyone would like to see. No one would complain if it happens. I think a lot of people want to see this fight happen. Because I always bring my best and he always brings his best, so I think it's a good fan-friendly fight. Because he likes to taunt his opponents in the ring, and I like to do that as well. So it's going to be a fun fight.
And it all starts sort of behind the scenes as well, the mental game as well between you two. Do you think Darrin has a good mental warfare? Because he does mention in his interviews, especially when he's sending messages to his opponents, he's always got something to say. Does that factor into your preparations, the fact that he might want to get into your head?
Nah, can't play games with me. I'm an old dog. Can't play games with me.
All right, so you'll be mentally strong going into that fight. Ideally, when is a good time for this fight to take place? I know you as a fighter, you probably say, let's do it tomorrow or something like that. But realistically, business-wise, when is a good time to set up a fight like this?
If they give us enough preparation time, and then we can make it happen. So I would say July, August, September. That's a good time. Enough time to prep, so we can both be at our best. I want the best Darrin Rossouw, and I'm sure he wants the best Jami Webb.
All right, so obviously for the promoters out there, this fight is a huge opportunity to jump on and obviously get on board with. I personally want to see this fight, so I'm going to be pushing it on my end as well, because man, we've got to see the best fighting the best. You don't want to see 3 fighting 9, and you don't want to see 8 fighting 4. You want to see the 2 guys that are at the top. And obviously a win for you, Jamie, puts you in a very strong position. You're getting back in line for a rematch at Shavante Koopman as well. Does that interest you?
Look, Shavante Koopman is a very good boxer. I didn't expect it from him, but moving forward with a new team, new strategy, different Jami, that will be number 2 will be good. Number 2 will be better.
All right, so that's obviously a motivation for you. And just speaking on you personally, Jamie, as well, are you hungry to get back into the sport? Because I think it was about a year back when I was speaking to you, you were not at your best. You were down on the sport.
There was times where I wanted to give up, when you are questioning yourself, and that's why I had to dig deep. So the last time you saw me, I didn't have this as well. So this is, people ask me, why do I have this? But this is part of my spiritual growth, my mental growth, and see how far I came, and this is how far I came. So I grew into a new person, and I had to cut the head off of the old Jami Webb and rise again. And here I am today, better, stronger, mentally, physically, and a whole new person.
And so, like, just speaking on that as well, you would obviously be seeing Jamie in the gym, day after day after day. Are you seeing that response from him? Is he there?
Do you know, Jamie's very switched on now. His priorities are right. He's got a boxer's mentality. He's got a pro athlete's mentality. I think that's somewhere Rossouw needs to get to as well. I think emotion might get the better of him in these sort of situations. He is a lot younger. The ego is there of a young boxer. I think that's a hurdle that he has to overcome. I stand to be corrected. This is just my observation. I don't know him personally, but I always look at athletes, and psychology for me plays a huge role in performance and leading up to a fight. A lot of the time, you'll hear boxers say half of the battles won before the fight. Mentally that face off and how boxers sort of speak about each other. And you can see the nervousness or the confidence in a boxer. So psychologically, I think Jamie has been through a lot in the past 4 years. And before he joined the gym, I think a big battle that we had was even psychologically in the gym. It's constantly having conversations on a personal level. I mean, Jamie and I were playing tennis on the court the other day. I think it was 2 weeks before your fight, 2 weeks before your fight.
Yes.
Just chatting. Just casually chatting, and I think it was good for him. It was a good environment to take his mind off boxing. Tennis is one of my complementary sports for boxing, and Jamie happened to be them. We were just literally chatting about life, what he's gone through, what this means to him. Like the Western Cape title for him, I mentioned on radio the other day, was more of a psychological or sentimental achievement. It's something he should have accomplished a long time ago, but there's just been too many hurdles. He was fighting judges, fighting crowds, fighting politics. It wasn't just fighting the boxer. So I think Rossouw is just another stepping stone, to be honest.
Okay, that's an interesting observation right there, because obviously in both of your situations, you'll be thinking the same thing, right? I mean, you both need to step over each other in order to get to the big prize, which is the SA title. I mean, that's the one that you'll both be chasing. Jamie, can I leave you lastly with a message for Darrin Rossouw, just before anything might potentially happen, or to maybe excite the fans out there?
Look, I just want him to be at his best. Be at your best, train hard, come in shape, and let's give the fans something to look forward to, and yeah, let's bring out the best in each other. That's all I expect from anyone, because I will come in at the best of my ability. I've
All
been
right,
through
thank
the
you very
fire, so it's nothing scares me now. So that's why I said with mental games, you can't play that game with me. I've been through the fire, like for real. You know that. And like Coach said earlier, and I've got the short and the stick many times, judges, referees, things like that. And COVID as well, 2 years in COVID. And while I'm peaking. I'm going 6 fights undefeated, 2 years out, and I come fight for SA title or the WBF, and the judges do me wrong like that. So that's why I went to a dark place personally, and it was hard for me to bring myself out of that. And that's why when I got in the ring and in my last fight, I had to take care of business. And so when my coach asked me, he said, "How was that? How do you feel?" I said, "I'm glad the nightmare's over." So that's my mentality. I just want to fight whoever's in front of me. Coach says something, and I say, "Yes, coach." That's all.
Yeah, good belief in your team, and obviously a new Jami Webb coming through, and obviously good to see you a seasoned fighter as well, one of the top fighters in the country. Jami Webb and Salek Dali, thank you very much for joining me today on SA Boxing Talk to build up potentially a fight in the near future against Darrin the Destroyer, as he calls himself, Rossouw. We look forward to that battle taking place, and of course, if this does materialize, may the best man win.
Thank you very much.
Aiden.